Hello Wanderlust Hearts and welcome back to Wanderlust Keva. So my topic for today will be about 10 things you should do the day before your cruise. So it's the last day before your cruise. You're excited, you can't wait to start your vacation and you just want to make sure that this cruise is perfect. These are the 10 things that you should do the day before your cruise. Let's get right into it. Now these are not going to be in any special order, but I'm just going to list them as I see fit. So the number one thing I think you should do is definitely you want to make sure to do your final check on your luggage. So in most cases you're going to have a check bag that you're going to give to your porters, and then you're going to have a carry-on bag. Some people have more, but that is about the average amount of bags that you normally would have. So things that aren't so important, you want to put those things in your check bag. Now in your carry-on bag is what you're going to take with you. You're going to want to have all your important things in there. So stuff like your medication, you want to have your important documents in there that you would need to take with you on the cruise. You want to have your jewelry, anything valuable. You just want to make sure that you have those inside your carry-on that will be with you while you're actually boarding the ship. So now to number two, you want to actually check all your important cruise documents the day before. Now you should have already done this from days before, but you want to do that final check the day before. You want to check your passport, if you need visa, birth certificate, whatever form of identification you're going to use. You want to make sure check those documents. You want to make sure that they're together, and you can get one of these passport holders. They are perfect to keep all your travel documents together. Another thing you want to make sure is that you have your boarding pass. So your travel documents in most cases are going to be your passport or whatever IDs that you're going to need, and your boarding pass. So those are the two main things that you want to make sure that you have them and you have them with you. Now the next thing that you want to make sure that you also have would be your luggage tags. So basically once you print out your boarding pass, your luggage tag is also there as well. And this is to make sure that you're able to tag your bags, the one that is going with the porter. You want to make sure put your tags on the bag. That way they're able to find your room. And another thing that would make that perfect is to get you luggage tag holders. So you want to make sure get those, and you can find them on Amazon. All the items that I will mention to you today as well, they're all on my Amazon storefront. I will have links in the description, and for anything that you were to purchase, I would earn a commission on any eligible purchases. But like I said, you want to make sure that all your important things are in your carry-on bag, the bag that you're carrying with you, as well as if you're going to bring in any wine or any sodas or your snacks, you can bring those with you in your carry-on. So you just want to make sure that there's a separation between the things that you can bring in your carry-on versus the things that you cannot. And if you do not know what types of things you bring, then there's another video that I would put on the screen. You can stop this video and you can click that link and you can go and watch that and then come back to this video. And in those videos would actually show you what to pack in your carry-on as well as what to pack in your check bag. Now the third thing that you should do is make sure you download the Carnival Hub App. A lot of persons wait until the day of when it's really hectic, your Wi-Fi might be freaking out, you may not get good service, and you get on the ship and you realize now you can't get it downloaded or there is some issue going on. You always want to do it before. This is something that I also mentioned you do if you haven't done this months prior to your cruise, at least a week to your cruise. But you want to make sure that night or day before your cruise that you actually have it downloaded and everything is all set with the Carnival Hub app, because this is their form of communication. This is the app that's going to show you everything that's going on board. This is the app that's going to show you how much you have available on your balance, because we all have to have an account that we use, because you don't use physical cash on the cruise. So we have to create an account, whether you use your credit or debit card or you're going to use cash, because on check-in day you're going to get a sail and sign card, which would then be your form of payment. And one of the things that I recommend you keep in your sail and sign card is your cruise lanyard, and I will put that on the screen. And it'll also be in the description if you want to purchase one of the cruise lanyards to keep your sail and sign card with. Now to number 4. The next thing that I recommend you doing the day before your cruise would be calling your banks and letting them know that you're traveling the next day, and you can give them the places that you're going to travel. That way when they see any transactions coming from those places, they would have already been aware and allow your payments to go through to avoid you having any declined transactions during your vacation. Now to number 5, I would say make sure set up your transportation. So if you don't already know how you're getting to the cruise port, now is the time. So you want to know whether you're going to be taking a taxi, an Uber, or if you're traveling that day of, if you're going to be taking the cruise shuttle or whatever form you're going to be using to get to the cruise. You want to make sure set that up the day before, and at the same time you want to already know the distance from wherever you're coming from to that cruise port, whether it's the airport or your hotel. And I highly recommend you staying to a hotel near the cruise port. I know sometimes those ones that are closer to the cruise port are sold out, and this is why you should book those well in advance. But if not, try to get it as close as possible. And if you aren't able to get it as close as possible, you should already know how long it would take you to get from that hotel or from the airport to the cruise port, and make sure you have sufficient time that you leave out. That way you don't be too early and you don't be too late to the cruise for your check-in time. Now to number 6. The next thing I recommend would be you checking your emails. Sometimes there might be changes to your flight. Sometimes there might be changes that the cruise would be leaving. Sometimes there might be changes to several things that you may need to know in advance. So by you checking the day before, because in most cases they would give you at least a day that they would send you these notifications if there's any changes, or you may have missed some notifications from previous days. But now is a good time to make sure check your emails so that you don't miss out on anything, and so that you'll be well aware of any changes. So tip number 7, you want to make sure do a weather check. Now I know in most cases you already know where you're going, and if you're going somewhere in the summer, in most cases we know that it's going to be hot. And even though you may be going to a Caribbean country, that doesn't mean that they don't sometimes have little cool weather. So you just want to make sure check the weather and make sure in that case you'll have the time to be able to prepare yourself to bring a jacket or an umbrella. Depending on what the weather is going to be, you would know what it is that you may need to bring some changes for. That way you would be all prepared and not caught off guard or have to purchase anything that you may already have. So now to number 8. If you're a person and you want to purchase any international phone plans, now is the time to check on those, or maybe even activate those. Depending on where you're going, you may need to do it before or after. You want to make sure activate those plans now, or if you are going to use your cruise Wi-Fi, now is the time to do it, because you're actually going to pay more on the cruise anyway. So it's best to do it that day before, which will be your last opportunity to get it at a lower cost. And if you want to do any other plans, you want to make sure you get those for any international places where you may be going, and you want to have service to those places that you're going. Now to number 9. And some people may take this a little lightly and not think that it is important, but I recommend whenever you're traveling to always give a family member or someone close to you that is not traveling with you, give them the information on where you're staying, where you're going, what time you should be back, and certain things like that, and also when to expect you, or to give them any emergency numbers in the event that something happens and they need to contact you and can't reach you on your mobile. So that is another good tip that I think most people take a little lightly. Definitely you should do that from the day before and make sure that you contact those persons in the event any emergencies happen. Now to number 10. I would say definitely you want to rest. You want to make sure eat something good and solid. You want to make sure drink water and stay hydrated. You want to make sure have a nice restful night, because the next day we all know that there can be really long lines on cruises, and that next day is going to be a lot of movement and a lot of things are going to be going on. So you just want to make sure stay hydrated. So I definitely recommend that you do those, and I hope these tips were really helpful. And if I missed anything that you normally do the night before your cruise, you can leave it in the comment section below, so you may be able to help somebody or maybe even myself. And before you leave this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and see you until next time. Bye.